Hi, Kat here for Lightwave Digital. In this video, I'm going to show you a new kind of hidden gem that's been added to Turbulence FD inside of Lightwave 2025.1. Now, when Turbulence FD was a standalone or a third-party plugin from Jawset, the tool had a command line function that allowed you to convert from the BCF format of TFD to OpenVDB volume datasets. Now that we've got Turbulence FD as part of an integrated plugin, and the Cinema 4D version no longer exists. It's only available for Lightwave now. We can use the Turbulence FD cache container to export directly to a VDB file. Now, I only need data for this lovely plume that we've got in the Afterburner example that ships with Lightwave 2024, and you can get it in the content out of your account. So when I go to save this, and I hit Save Cache as VDB, I need to change the name. So we'll go Afterburn. And we'll go and save the path. Give it a separate directory. Otherwise, it'll just use the original cache directory for the Turbulence FD container where it saves out, or wherever you have chosen to save it out. And we've got some other additional options here. Obviously, frame range 0 to 120. That's what we've got for an animation range in my time bar slider. And we've got functions for filters. The defaults for this are 1, 1, and a world radius for the voxel offset is 0.1. And this iteration be 1. You can also use no filter type, mean value, Gaussian, which we had set earlier, median value, or offset. Now, more explanation on this will be in the manual shortly, so hold tight for additional instructions on that. But I want to show you how this works specifically, because there's a function in here that some people are going to miss, because they're not going to go and click on this and use a drop-down box to select either the shader mapping or the use filter. So the use filter is using this set of settings, and you can also combine them. So let's say I wanted to use the filter as well. So now I've got shader mapping and use filter. Now I'm not going to export density because there's no smoke in here. So I don't need that. And I'm going to turn the velocity off. And we're going to go to filter and go OK. We're going to go to process and just use shader mapping. And then we can hit OK, and it's going to start saving out the data to a VDB sequential file. Let's take a real quick gander at what that looks like. So you can see it's saving out these VDBs, and they do get quite large, even though I've only been using one channel. So whenever you're working with this, make sure you're just saving out the data that you actually need when you go to reload it into Lightwave as a VDB or in another program that can use VDB files. So if you're going to make clouds or something like that and you want to save them out, use them in another program, put them over to Unreal Engine, whatever it might be. Just make sure you're saving out only what you need. Another thing that's important to note is that this VDB tool, when it was moved from the command line to being integrated with Lightwave, the coordinate system was corrected so that it works properly with Lightwave, rather than what it was originally written for, which was Cinema 4D, which has a slightly different coordinate system than Lightwave. It has a right-hand coordinate system versus left-hand, even though it's still Y up. So this fixes that problem, and now you can export directly from Lightwave's interface with the Turbulence FD container. Now I'm going to hit abort here, just so I can show you how this is loaded back into Lightwave if you want. So we'll go and clear this scene, or I can go and load my other demonstration scene that does this. We're going to go and look for the missing BDB file. Okay. There we go. And as you can see, we've got a null in the middle of the scene, and we can see that the container size is being represented here from the original TFD container. Got our camera set. All good. Let's go to that object. And you'll see that under primitive type, I've got OpenVDB selected. I like to drop the step size down to match more or less what I had with my original container, but that's not a golden rule. It's just I want to match it. You may find value, depending on your scene, to increase the step size or decrease it for more accuracy. Once you have that VDB mesh selected, you can go in and drop your VDB file. Select the channel that you want for your emission, which in this case is going to be temperature. Leave the color black and go in and apply a gradient with a parameter called emission data. And then from here, you can put in a really nice gradient, something that jives with an engine or whatever the type of effect that you're looking to simulate it with. And if you need to, you can plug in additional channels. So when we go back to camera, let's just put our camera back a little bit here. And scrub ourselves forward. All right. And you can hit F9 and you will find yourself with a flame as represented by the VDB. Keep in mind though, Turbulence FD, because of the way that it works and the way it renders, is going to be far faster to render than something like this, depending on what you're doing. But this now gives you the ability to take something from Turbulence FD, turn it into a VDB, and plug it into any program that will accept it, including Lightwave, and render it directly in Engine. All right, so there's our final result. Doesn't look too bad, of course. Adjusting the gradients to get a better look certainly will help. And keep in mind that you have full nodal access to all of this. So if you want to do some really interesting nodal work on your VDBs, you most certainly can. And that's now available to you in Lightwave 2025.0.1. Thanks for watching.